Of all the dirty power plants that burn fossil fuel, some of the dirtiest are PEAKER plants.
My oldest sister, Judy, she had brain cancer, and she died at the young age of 26.
It's going to be the most important election of our lifetime. You know, we're all getting old here, we're all of a certain age, but you all have grandchildren, you all have children. Look in their eyes. What are we leaving them?
So, Ashley?
I'd first like to make note that we are hand-delivering formal opposition from the Fort Mohave Indian Tribe to the county, to Mohave County Board of Supervisors in a hand-delivered letter. Also, I'd like to bring your attention to a map. So this map shows the service area. It also shows a few things in terms of reservation land. So when you look at where the designated applications are, it actually abuts reservation land, which is why Fort Mohave tribal members stand in opposition to this area. And I'd like to bring your attention to that because our history is really important, especially with the United States enactment of the Dawes Act. So if you look at the land on the map, what you'll see is you'll see parcels of tribal farm, private farm, tribal farm, private farm, and that's through the establishment of the Dawes Act. And that Dawes Act issued to the tribe that we would be responsible for maintaining collaborative partnership with local jurisdictions and authorities to use the land in similar ways. And I bring that attention to your attention because we're here for a land amendment issue for use of land. And so when we were settling this through the Dawes Act, we agreed, part of the tribe with the United States, on behalf of the county and the state, that we would use the land in similar ways. Now, a business is asking for an exception to change the intent of that settled land dispute in those settled ways. And one of the things that we've noticed is that this was taken directly from the agenda booklet today, that even in their application, if you read here, they've submitted, let me see if I can turn that around. The application they've submitted is an incomplete application before you, which means that they didn't complete the application to say if it was in compliance with the general plan, or if they would be submitting an amendment or an addendum. And they did this in both of the applications for the new sites that were printed out this morning. And we know that they know how to fill out an application because in the original application for the beginning site in Mohave Valley, they did fill it out completely and they listed that it was not in compliance with the general plan. Now I bring that to your attention because the item before you is whether or not to pass a land amendment that is in compliance with the general plan. Now, I understand that they are asking for an exception and for you to make those changes, but one of the other items I'd like to bring before your attention, in Mohave Valley specifically, all Mohave Valley residents do not receive power from MEC or APCO. Actually, 1 in every 3 Mohave Valley residents do not receive power. So they will be impacted by this decision that you're making and receive none of the benefit. All of the impact, none of the benefit. And so this map, the gray area, shows the service boundary for other power authorities in Mohave Valley. And we think that's really important because what we are looking at is a project for a land amendment that will critically change a general land use plan that has already addressed land disputes in the area between the tribe and private use in a way that we would agree upon to utilize the land under a general plan so that they are similar so that we do not have further land disputes in this area. And so that is really important in thinking about the decision you have today because you have a choice. You can maintain the county's rule and accept that this exception does not follow the general plan. It does not comply with the general plan. It also does not, it's not what Mohave Valley residents want. We have over 2,000 signatures, all from Mohave Valley. We spent the time this summer and this fall talking to residents in Mohave Valley. We didn't extend that to Bullhead City or Kingman or Wickiup or other states or the U.S. because this is a Mohave Valley issue. Mohave Valley residents want to live in the ways that Mohave Valley has been living and has been accustomed to living. And so we're asking you to side with the residents because the choice is to side with us or reopen already settled land disputes that have happened through the Dawes Act, land disputes that have been agreed to through the general plan. And yes, it is private use, but private use for a designation of agricultural or residential, not private use for urban development, rezoning, redesigning the critical landscape for Mohave Valley residents. And we hope that you vote against this land amendment issue and stand with Mohave Valley and stand with the public, the residents that live both on and off reservation, and also stand with the Native Americans that have been here since time immemorial, so that you can say, hey, you know, this project doesn't comply with the general plan. And we're asking that of you, ironically, at the beginning of Native American Heritage Month. How would you like to be remembered today? We're not saying no against the power. We're not against gas. We're asking you to protect our rural lifestyle and look into other areas where this project can be successful and beneficial to the majority of people that it serves in Mohave County. And there is land available for that is already designated for heavy manufacturing throughout the county. That's all we're asking in terms of location, to stand with Mohave Valley residents, stand with the Native Americans, Fort Mohave, Mohave people in Native American Heritage Month, and keep the critical agreement that was made on the use of this designation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. It seems that the tribe really has the history here.
Of all the dirty power plants that burn fossil fuel, some of the dirtiest are peaker plants.
I'm standing in the fields behind Allendale Elementary School. Behind me is the Pittsfield generating plant. Peaker plants tend to run very infrequently.
Peaker plants are only fired up a few days a year during hours of peak demand for electricity, such as the hottest summer days.
But when they do run, tend to be among the most polluting plants.
It's a double hit for our children. It's a double hit for our children. It's a double hit for our children who not only are dealing with the effects of increased pollution in their environments now and how that may affect their lung development and diseases like asthma, but they're the ones who are going to have to deal with the effects of higher CO2 concentrations and global warming in the years to come.
It's going to be the most important election of our lifetime. You know, we're all getting old here. We're all of a certain age, but you all have grandchildren. You all have children. Look in their eyes. What are we leaving them?
It's a double hit for our children.
It's going to be the most important election of our lifetime. You know, we're all getting old here. We're all of a certain age, but you all have grandchildren. You all have children. Look in their eyes. What are we leaving them?
It's a double hit for our children.
It's going to be the most important election of our lifetime. You know, we're all getting old here. We're all of a certain age, but you all have grandchildren. You all have children. Look in their eyes. What are we leaving them?
Peakers create a huge amount of greenhouse gas, which heats up the climate. They cost a fortune to run, causing electricity prices to spike.
Well, a little over 70 years ago, the state of Nevada started testing nuclear bombs. The test ran from 1951 into the 60s, and while the U.S. never did drop any more nuclear bombs on foreign soil, the testing had deadly consequences here at home. They're called downwinders, people living in Nevada, Utah, and Arizona who were exposed to radiation from the explosions. Many got federal funding after suffering from cancers tied to the radiation. But as David Caltabiano tells us, the people of Kingman, Arizona are still fighting for recognition.
My oldest sister, Judy, she had brain cancer, and she died at the young age of 26.
Many got federal funding. Many got federal funding. Many got federal funding.
common knowledge that a lot of people were getting sick.
There's still a war, this time for justice.
That the government should be held responsible and should recognize that, you know, no mistake was made.
To do the right thing.
Former rancher Dan Bishop watched mushroom clouds in Nevada as the military tested nuclear bombs 65 miles away from his Arizona home.
It was interesting. I didn't realize the magnitude of what was going on. Nobody did in Kingman, and everybody was just, wow, it's happening in Nevada. We didn't pay any attention to it other than watched it.
It's going to be the most important election of our lifetime. You know, we're all getting old here. We're all of a certain age, but you all have grandchildren. You all have children. Look in their eyes. What are we leaving them?
It's a double hit for our children.
My oldest sister, Judy, she had brain cancer, and she died at the young age of 26. My oldest sister, Judy, she had brain cancer, and she died at the young age of 26. My oldest sister, Judy, she had brain cancer, and she died at the young age of 26.
It's a double hit for our children.
I don't think anybody can be 100% sure, but the statistics show that the cancer rate in Mohave County is much higher than the surrounding counties.
Of all the dirty power plants that burn fossil fuel, some of the dirtiest are peaker plants.